Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer to Buzzer. All right, guys. So once again, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to hit 500 subscribers. We are well making our way onto 600, which is just unbelievable. Once again, from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And we're not planning on stopping anytime soon. And today, as promised, guys, you guys asked a bunch of awesome questions. So for our 500 subscriber special, we're going to be answering them in a Q&A. So without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, guys. So to get things started off right now, the first question which we're going to be answering out of many more is by Cities players. That being, what do we plan on doing once we reach college, and what colleges are we personally thinking of?
Okay, so in college, I plan on majoring in finance, and a couple of colleges I'm looking at right now are UIUC, so Urbana-Champaign, Indiana University, and Michigan. I would say those are my top schools right now.
I plan on majoring on biology. My top universities right now are the University of Illinois, Northwestern, and UMich as well.
In college, I plan on majoring in econ, like my boy RJ Reed. And for colleges, I'm looking at UMich, U of I, and Wisconsin Madison.
And yeah, I plan on majoring in computer science. The schools I'm looking at are somewhat in state as well, like U of I, UIC, Northwestern as well. All right, guys, now let's move on to our second question, which was asked by friends all day. And this question is divided into 4 parts, one for each of us. So first of all, Abi, I'm going to get started with you. He's asking, why are you such a big Seahawks fan if you're from the city of Chicago?
Okay, all right. So initially, I started watching football, NFL around like 2011, 2012, and the Bears was actually the first team I watched. And I just wasn't like a huge fan of the Bears. I don't know why. Like I just didn't like them as a team. And then I believe it was around like week 7 or 8 in the 2012 season. So it was Russ's rookie year, and I think they were playing the Lions. That was the first game I watched of Russ. I just switched games on the channel, and then he did really good, even though they lost. But I was like, okay, I like this quarterback. Like a mobile QB, kind of good arm. He can throw, he can run. And then I followed him like until that whole 2012 season. And then the week 13, I believe it was, against the Bears in overtime, the Seahawks won. And then that's kind of where I was like, oh, damn, like Russell Wilson, he's a real deal. Like I liked him since 2012. And then as a 2013 season, I followed him and then won the Super Bowl. And then, yeah, I've been a fan ever since.
Super Bowl 48. Anyway, moving on. Next question.
All right, so the next question, which Friends All Day is asking is, Rayon, why are you buying into the DK Metcalf hype more than Abi? Well, it's mainly because of the story, right? We saw him at Ole Miss playing with A.J. Brown, the 8 wide receivers selected before him by the Chiefs, N'Keal Harry, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, all these guys. And DK Metcalf, not only did he prove he was a beast in his rookie year last year, but this year he's just continuing that. And it's a bit peculiar. I know it's a bit odd. Why am I rooting for somebody that hard, even if he's on the Bears? Especially on a team like the Seahawks, which Abi's rooting for. But just the overall story and the way he's balling out, you got to love him. All right, guys, and the next question is for Arian. So, Arian, Friends of Dale's asking, why are you so serious during the episodes, my man? Can you smile every once in a while? Your response?
This is a sports talk show. There's nothing really to smile about. You just got to be serious to get your points across. That's it.
All right, the next question is for Harsh, my friends all day. Harsh, why are you such a delusional Bears fan who overhypes them each week?
I love the delusion. It's fun. You're not a real fan of your team. You don't expect them to win every week. Obviously it's unreasonable to expect them to win every week, but it's like fun. Just rooting for the Bears every single week, expecting them to win.
All right, guys, moving on to our third set of questions by Santu Sports Hub. First question he's asking is, would you guys ever consider doing a live stream? Well, Santu, something which we've definitely considered. Maybe probably in the future, in certain terms of live events, maybe with the Super Bowl, with the NBA draft, get our live reactions as the show is going on. Sort of got to look into how that's going to play out with the editing and all that, but definitely something which we can do in the future. Second question he's asking is, if so, can we do what Pat McAfee does on his live stream, a dial-in? Definitely, yeah. The way we recorded these, it would be definitely possible for us to display a number which you can dial in through, and we can even talk live, get your guys' response. That could be something pretty cool, and a cool idea in the future as well. Third question being, Rayon, why are you such a big LeBron James fan? All right, okay. So it's pretty simple. Though the 2011 NBA Finals is how I really got into basketball, that Mavs and Heat series. and LeBron James, just the greatness which he showed on that floor, being like 7, 8 years old in second or third grade, seeing him and D Wade play like basketball was nothing. Although they did lose in that 2011 NBA Finals against the Mavs 4-2, just seeing that dynasty, LeBron in 2012, 2013, and everything which he stands up for. There's a lot of haters over here as well, but you got to appreciate what he's been doing, not only on, but off the court as well. And just because of what he's done, I love him, man. All right, the fourth question is, how long have we been doing this channel for?
We started this talk show early April, so we were all released from school because of obviously the COVID-19 pandemic, and we were friends before this. We always talked about sports. Our whole group chat was about sports, and then we just decided that we want to start a talk show, and yeah, that's kind of it from there.
All right, guys, then we went on to our fourth question, that being my friends all day. He's asking, one thing which I've always wondered is, how did you guys meet? Like, were you guys friends before this? Did you guys know each other before this?
So I think Arian, Abi, and Rayan, they've known each other since elementary school. And then I met the rest of them in high school our freshman year, and we've been friends ever since then.
All right, guys, moving on to our fifth set of questions, that being by Jay-Z Productions. He's asking, firstly, was this talk show started because of the COVID-19 pandemic, or did you guys already have this planned beforehand?
So basically we got sent back home after the pandemic, to school, from school, and we really were at home all day doing nothing, and we just always texted the group chat. And one night, me and Abi were actually on FaceTime, and as a joke, we were saying, what if we started a sports podcast? Immediately, I texted the group chat, and then within 2 days, Rayan had a website up and then released a trailer within 5 days. It's been crazy since then.
Yes, it has. Second question being for all of us. I'm going to get started with Arian asking you. He's asking for our best wide receiver in the league and our best quarterback in the league, in our opinions.
Best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion, is still Julio Jones. No matter how bad his team is, he's always producing, whatever the situation. So I think Julio Jones is the best receiver. And best quarterback right now, I believe, is Russell Wilson. He's got the dual threat, deep ball accuracy. He's leading his team to wins. I mean, there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah, I'm either between Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins, but if I had to pick one, I would also go with Julio Jones. And for the QB, I mean, do I got to say anything more? Obviously, I'm going to go with my boy, Russell Wilson. This man's a front runner for MVP, no doubt, this year. If he doesn't win it, then this whole league is rigged. I don't even know what I'm going to do. But, yeah, he's the best quarterback by far this year.
Yeah, for wide receiver, I'm going to have to go DeAndre Hopkins. I think the question's asking who's recently been the best. And I think even last year, DeAndre Hopkins was a better receiver than Julio Jones. Julio Jones is great, but I'm going to have to go DeAndre Hopkins. For quarterback, I'm going to go with Mitchell Trubisky. He's just proven week in, week out he can play. I mean, yesterday, did you see his 4-yard run? That's not something Russell Wilson can do.
You're right, Harsh. The reason why I'm going with QB Russell Wilson is because he can perform longer runs, usually getting more than a couple 4 yards, right? But for wide receiver, that's a tough question. On one hand, you got DK Metcalf, who has just been spectacular. But looking at overall type of scheme, putting some reality back into this discussion, right, I think I'll have to go with DeAndre Hopkins as well. But don't get me wrong, it's close. All right, guys, our third question being by Jay-Z Productions. He's asking, when will we start covering the NBA draft? Well, Jay-Z, with NBA draft coming in a couple of weeks only, we'll start for sure getting out some mock drafts, some analysis on who we think the Bulls, they got the fourth pick as well, and who the other three teams will be drafting as well. A lot more content to come for sure as the NBA draft approaches. And speaking of schedule, you're asking for our updated schedule. Yeah, so every Tuesday, we release our previous week predictions. So tomorrow, there's going to be our 8th week NFL predictions going over our analysis, our review, and all that. And then on Wednesday, we're going to release our weekly power rankings. And on Thursdays, we release our next week's predictions. So on Thursday, you'll be seeing our NFL Week 9 predictions. And then every once in a while, every couple of days, we have a quick take, such as on a Thursday night football game, or something which just happened in the news, which is deserving of a video. All right, guys, moving on towards our sixth set of questions, that being by Divini Amadi. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But first question, guys, he's asking is, who do you think will get Trevor Lawrence this year?
I believe that Trevor Lawrence will go to the Jets. I don't think he's going to pull in Eli Manning, and I think he's going to end up being the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I disagree with Arian. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go back to Clemson. I don't think any team's getting him this year. I think he's looking for his own future, and anyone who goes to the Jets is going to fail.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely see Trevor Lawrence pulling Eli Manning. With the Jets, it's just hard to see that upside. He's such a talented quarterback. He could definitely have a really good career in the NFL. But I think it's time for him to bust out the Eli Manning move. All right, moving on to the second question he asked, guys. He's asking, will the Texans be a bad team for a long time because of Bill O'Brien's effect on the team?
I don't think so on this one. I think Deshaun Watson has the potential to take him out of this losing streak, if that's what you want to call it. And he's too talented to make a team like that fail. Even if he doesn't have a lot of weapons, Also, I want to see where Will Fuller ends up because he's definitely the wide receiver one. And David Johnson not having a great year, but that's what you expect from him ever since his injury. But I really don't think that this is going to be like a long-term trend. I think that the Texans will eventually be a better team than how they were a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know about anytime soon. Maybe, next 2, 3 years they might still be bad, but once they get the head coach figured out and they get some more defensive pieces as well as a better offensive line, then they'll start becoming good. But I think the first priority right now is to find the right head coach for Deshaun Watson.
No, I'm gonna have to disagree. I don't see the Texans being contenders anytime soon. I think the Texans are in a place of selling right now. I mean, J.J. Watt, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, they've all been included in trade rumors. Along with a multitude of other players from the Texans. I think their defense is definitely one of the worst ones in the league, and I think going forward they're gonna look to build through the draft.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to go with Harsh on here. I think the Texans are probably going to be in the rebuilding phase. They got a stellar quarterback in Sean Watson, but they don't got the right pieces around them, let alone the right head coach. I think all that's going to take at least a couple of 3 years or more for the Texans to get the ball rolling again and be called contenders officially. All right, guys, moving on to the third question he asked, how bad do you think the Clippers, aka the Flippers, curses? I'm going to get started off right here saying the Clippers, man, you guys already seen the emotion which we expressed in our quick takes when talking about the Lakers and Clippers. You guys know Lakers are going to shut them out next season as well. Clippers, that curse is going to persist. Sure, they got a new head coach in Ty Lue, but we all know that Ty Lue, questionable, right? Ever since that doctor was finding, the Clippers are just lost. I'm going to give it to Ari. What do you guys think out here?
I don't know if Ty Lue's questionable. I think he's a great fit for that locker room, and I think he's going to get that locker room back on track. Hopefully, I think last year the big problem was Kawhi and Paul George kind of coasted by. I don't think that happens this year, knowing the results, and I think it's going to be a great series to see next year.
Yeah, I think that it's not a lot to do with the whole Clippers curse. I just think that obviously Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, like Arian said, didn't really perform in the playoffs. Kawhi did pretty decent, but obviously the game mattered. Game 7 against the Nuggets, as we all saw, he didn't perform. Paul George didn't perform at all in the whole playoffs with his nicknames that he got. So yeah, I just think that both of them as two superstars, they need to have higher expectations, and the team needs to have high expectations from them. And if they play like at the level that they play during the regular season, I don't really see a challenge for them other than the Lakers.
All right, and the last question he's asking, guys, is what are our favorite video games? Abhi, I'm going to start with you.
Well, currently, I would say my favorite. I won't say Fortnite. I'm from Faggot. Currently, I would say my favorite video game is probably Call of Duty Warzone. I've always been like a huge COD fan ever since like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. But I kind of like stopped playing video games for a while. But I'll probably start playing more since all the college essays are done.
Yeah, similar to B. I haven't played video games in a while, but if I'm going all time, it's got to be Black Ops 2 or GTA 5.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree right there. Black Ops 2 never gets old. The zombies, especially. 100% Black Ops 2 all-time great.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess right now it'd probably be Among Us. I feel like we play it all the time. I don't know if that really counts as a video game, but it's a lot of fun.
All right, guys, now moving on towards our 7th question set, this being a pretty long one by Hooper, who's saying congratulations on hitting 500 subscribers. Thank you. We appreciate it. And firstly, his question is, what is each one of our favorite sports?
Okay, get started. I would say my favorite sport is probably basketball. That's a sport I originally started playing. Even though I do say that football is more fun to watch, I'm gonna have to stick with basketball because like I started playing very early, and I've always played throughout my life. So, yeah.
My favorite sport to play is definitely football. I just think it brings out the best, and it's a very competitive game. And yeah, I think football is my favorite sport to play.
You asked me this question 3 years ago, I would unequivocally say baseball because that was around the time I stopped playing. But since then, I realized that the most fun sport has to be football. I mean, it's so much fun to watch and play, and so I definitely put football number one.
I have to go with the B for sure. Football is close, but basketball definitely, because the way I got into sports Only did I play with Abi in a league back in the elementary school days. But watching the sport of basketball, it just brings the best. I think that's my favorite sport. Yeah. All right, the second question, guys, he is asking is what editor do we use for our videos? So Hooper, we use Final Cut Pro in order to edit all of our videos and get them out. And the third question he's asking is how do you best advertise our channel? Well, it's for sure been a lot of word of mouth, talking to other people who also watch ESPN videos, watch NFL videos, trying to get that community together. And safe to say, we're building that community and glad you're on us with that ride. All right, now moving towards some NFL questions he has. Firstly, he's asking, who is the best tight end, in our opinion, in the NFL right now?
Travis Kelce, no doubt. I mean, this man puts up yards and TDs every single week. I think, part of it is having to play with Patrick Mahomes, but even then, he's arguably the best tight end in the league.
I think when you answer that question, I feel like it's a huge debate right now, and it's been a debate. So you have Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and it's like honestly whatever your team needs. With Travis Kelce being a bigger offensive threat, but George Kittle having that like amazing blocks as a tight end, which is very important. That being said, I think I'm gonna have to go with Travis Kelce because of that whole offensive scheme he plays, the route running, his hands, or I think that's just like what a tight end needs, and that's why he's such a good tight end and the best in the league.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I think I'm going to go with George Kittle here. I think he's the best overall tight end in the league. His hands, he's just as good as a route runner as Travis Kelce. And I guarantee you, if George Kittle had Patrick Mahomes, he'd be just as good. I think the blocking is what gives him the edge over Travis Kelce.
Now I have to go with Travis Kelce. Not only what he's done last year, but this year with the Chiefs as well. The 2-in-1 player he is, not only providing a pathway for Patrick Mahomes when he needs to run, but also catching the dimes when he needs to. All in all, making him the best tight end. All right, moving on to the other question, guys, he's asking is, who do we think, which team has the highest odds of winning the Super Bowl this year?
I don't want to go with the same team that won last year, but I just feel like you got to go with the Chiefs. I know Harsh probably won't agree with me because he doesn't think the Chiefs will make the Super Bowl. But I just feel like the Chiefs just have too many weapons. Like, nothing has changed from last year, honestly. And, in fact, they got even a bigger weapon with their running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's an amazing rookie right now. And their team overall on their offense is just unstoppable. They've been beating teams by a large margin the past couple of games. I think they're on a roll right now. So even though I love the Seahawks, I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I think it's going to be Tampa Bay right now. Tampa Bay's been playing lights out. Their defense is top 10 for sure. Their offense is also top 10. I think their offense is comparable to Kansas City. And obviously, we saw what the defense did to Aaron Rodgers. So I think I'm going to have to go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree with Arian. I was going to say Tampa Bay as well. I think, the two losses this year are as a result of one, not having enough time with the new players for Tom Brady. And the second loss to the Bears was a part of mental miscues. I think they had a lot of mental miscues in the third quarter, and I think that cost them that game. Besides that, Tampa Bay's played excellent, and I think they have the best chance of making the Super Bowl and even winning.
For sure the Buccaneers can be there, but I also got to go with the B. From last year's performance and seeing what the Chiefs are doing this year as well, you got to put them as the favorites. What the amazing performance we've seen from Patrick Mahomes is balling out this year. Tyreek Hill, that team looking indestructible. That one loss against the Raiders is a bit weird, right? But I for sure can see them still making it and winning the Super Bowl this year. All right, guys. The next question he's asking is, who do you think has the most potential in the NFL other than Patrick Mahomes? Arian?
I think the player with the most potential in the league this year, or like going forward, is DK Metcalf.
Yes, sir.
I knew it.
Yes, sir.
I think he could definitely be the second coming of Megatron for sure. He's playing lights out this year, especially with Russell Wilson at quarterback. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Obviously I have to go with DK Metcalf. Like Arian said, you got to put some respect on that name. Yeah, sure, he has Russell Wilson, who's the greatest quarterback in this league right now. But if you look at all the size, the speed, the hands, the route running, he's just an amazing wide receiver in general. He makes amazing catches to win the game. He has that ice in his veins, and he has insane potential. And I could see him at the end of his career potentially being an all-time great.
All right, yes, sir. About time Arian acknowledge and give the respect which DK Metcalf deserves. You and I have been saying it from week one. If we go back in the videos, man, DK Metcalf just is proving everybody wrong. 8 wide receivers selected before him. He's outperforming all of them, having a stellar season aside Tyler Lockett. I feel like the sky is truly the limit. They're calling the second Megatron. I can see him being the second better Megatron. Abi, like you said, when all said and done, he's for sure going to be a top 3.
Yeah, you guys are focusing on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to look at the defense. I'm going to talk about Nick Bosa. The numbers he put up his rookie season on that elite San Francisco 49ers defense, taking them to the Super Bowl. I think that's crazy. Obviously, unfortunately, he's out this year, but it's going to be crazy to see what he's going to do in these coming years.
All right, guys. He's now one last NFL question he's asking is, what team do you think can sneak into the NFL playoffs and pull some crazy upsets? AKA, who's our Titans from last year, guys?
Miami Dolphins. For me, it's the Miami Dolphins. I think they've been winning big games. They're surprising people. They've been turning around. They had a few losses to start the season, but they're winning games every week, and I wouldn't be surprised to make the playoffs and, maybe win in the first or even the second round.
I don't think they'll sneak in. I don't think they'll make it, but the Cardinals, I think they're going to be – their offense is very good, as we saw last week. And their defense is definitely like nothing to be – they're not scrubs. So I think if Kyler Murray can just keep on playing like he's playing, they can definitely be a real threat to the big teams.
Yeah, I'm also going to have to go with the Cardinals on this one. Looking what they did with the Seahawks, I have to admit that was an off game for Russell Wilson and the team offense in general. But they are definitely a sleeper team. I mean, you don't really hear a lot of people talking about the Cardinals, talking about how much potential Kyler Murray has on the team. And I feel like if he finds his rhythm like he has been doing the past couple of games, I think they could upset quite a few number of teams in the playoffs.
Well, I don't think I'm going to go. For sure, the Cardinals, and I guess we can also say the Bears as well can sneak in. But looking at the AFC, the Raiders, I feel like can somehow sneak in. We've seen what they can do, sort of sending those mixed signals, not knowing what they can do week in, week out, proving some incredible wins and losses like we saw this past week as well. I feel like they for sure got a certain chance to beat the Titans from last year. All right, guys, now transitioning into some NBA questions by Hooper, who's firstly asking, who is the best point guard in the NBA for all of us? Abi?
Okay, this is an easy one, no question. When he's healthy, Steph Curry is above and beyond every single point guard in this league. I don't think there's a debate here. I feel like when he got injured the whole of last season, people tend to forget, Damian Lillard's the best point guard in the league. He invented the deep shot or whatever. That's his specialty. That's such false. That's such recency bias. They're just not, they don't understand or they don't remember how good Curry was 2014, 2015, 2016. It's MVP years, and he's undoubtedly the best point guard in the league.
Yeah, no doubt it's Stephen Curry.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing else to say. It has to be Steph Curry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year, for sure, I could see Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar being the best point guard, but when healthy. The way he revolutionized the three-point shot and the way he plays that point guard position is just phenomenal. And I feel like this year he's about to remind everybody why he's the best point guard in the league. Moving on to the second question, guys. Hooper is asking, what team do you think has the highest odds of winning the 2020-2021 NBA championship?
Okay, see, a lot of people, there's a lot of hype around the Nets right now. If KD, Kyrie back, Warriors, if they're back. But honestly, it pains me to say this, but I'm going to have to go with the Lakers on this one.
Sure.
I can't. They're just their offense. 80 LeBron James, two in the top 5 players in this league right now. When you put 2 of the top 5 players in this league right now on the same team, I mean, you saw what they did last year. The Heat, great job to them, props to them. But the Lakers, they just have that ball movement. They have King James, obviously. Anthony Davis, an amazing player, an underrated player too, I believe. I think the Lakers have the best shot.
Yeah, not 2 of the top 5, 2 of the top 3. I mean, Anthony Davis and LeBron James are unstoppable this year. And I honestly do have to say the Lakers do have the best odds.
I got to go with the Lakers as well. They just won the championship. LeBron James is playing lights out. Anthony Davis was really, really good. So, yeah, you guys got to be the Lakers.
3 words, Los Angeles Lakers. Come on now. All right, guys, next question he's asking is, what player do you think will win MVP next year? Harsh?
I would think Luka Doncic. I think he's been showing growth since he's entered this league. I think it's prime season for him to, finally enter the beginning of his prime. I think he's played lights out his first 2 years, no question. And I think this is the year he takes that step into MVP conversation.
Yeah, also, I'm going to have to go with Luka Doncic. Regularly, I would say with his regular season performance, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But, I mean, I think it's nearly impossible to win 3 consecutive MVP awards. Three seasons. So I think with Luka, with his insane potential, I think that he's going to win MVP.
I think it's going to be Steph Curry again. With KD gone and his first season being back healthy, I think he's going to lead them to a deep playoff run, and he's going to truly show what people what they missed out on last year.
I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. We all know LeBron James, until that man retires, he's always gonna be in the MVP conversation. But I truly feel like that this year, sort of, we saw the transition of power from LeBron to AD. But next year, I think we're gonna see more of that transition of the Lakers becoming Anthony Davis's team. He's for sure a heck of a player, a lot of upside. He's been proving he put up such a good performance in these past bubble playoffs. I feel like that he has a pretty good chance of winning the MVP award next year. And the last question which Hooper is asking is how do you guys think the Nets and the Warriors will look next year? I think we covered this guys already. We all said that the Nets are going to be interesting. They got a new coaching staff with Steve Nash, some other NBA legends as well. KD and Kyrie, we're all not sure about that locker room dynamic, but two players at their best, they can be pretty good. Can they play together pretty well and lead a team? That's going to be interesting to see. And for the Warriors, we all know what Steph Curry and Klay Thompson can do when they come back. For sure, they're going to pose a threat to the Lakers, and we're going to have quite the NBA season to come up. All right, guys, now moving on towards a question by one of our longest-term subscribers. He was here since we had 14 subscribers, that being RJ Reed, whose first question is, guys, asking, would we drop out of college if Buzzer to Buzzer blew up to 500,000 subscribers one day, which it will, he said.
I think I'm going to answer this for everyone. Definitely not. As like YouTube it's a great way. It's really fun right now, but even if whatever this dream happens of like getting 500,000 subscribers, I just don't think like it makes sense. It's not the most realistic approach. We all have like areas that we want to go into after high school. We have other interests other than sports. And I feel like getting like a more secure job than being like a talk show or podcast person is just a lot more, I guess, financially viable for all of us.
Yeah, but for sure, everything is flexible. You never know what the future does hold. And if one day this does get really rolling, who knows? Buzzer to Buzzer could be the next ESPN, right? So, all right, guys, the next question which we're going to be answering is by Fire King, who is asking, firstly, what do you guys think of the Bulls hiring Billy Donovan?
I love that move, honestly. I think we're super lucky to get Billy Donovan, a great coach, as we saw with OKC. And then, with the horrendous coach that the Bulls have had since Tom Thibodeau left, starting off with Fred Hoiberg, terrible coach. He didn't know what he was doing at all. And then when we finally thought we would get a better coach, Jim Boylan came, and this man was a complete train wreck. Didn't know how to utilize any of our players, any of the big men. But I really do think that Billy Donovan is something special. He's a really good coach. I feel like not a lot of people expected OKC to do that well and made it to the playoffs. This is a coach that the Bulls need, and I think he's going to give him a good shot of making the playoffs in the upcoming years.
I think this was a great hire. He develops young talent, and that's exactly what we need. We have a lot of young players on the roster, so I think Billy Donovan was the right move.
Yeah, for sure. The experience that he brings from the University of Florida, he coached there for like 17 years before making the transition to the NBA. With OKC, we saw what he did, almost leading the OKC Thunder to beat the Houston Rockets in that final play in the Game 7. It's going to be interesting to see how we can develop our young stars like Wendell Carter Jr., Lauri Markkanen. We got some bright stars. Not sure if he can get back to those 90s days, but he definitely has a chance to make us great again. And the second question, guys, which Fire King is asking is, who do we think the Bulls are going to be taking with the 4th pick?
I think this is a bit of a two things. I think it's who do we want them to take and who are they going to take. I really want them to take Denny Abdihia at the point that the Bulls are picking at number 4. I think he's going to be the best available. Who do I think they're picking? I don't think he falls for the Bulls. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumors that his draft stock has been rising, but I could see the Bulls drafting someone like James Wiseman or Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I think it's going to come into Obi Toppin and Denny. I don't even want to pronounce his last name. But, I think those are the two players that are most likely.
I could sort of kind of see LaMelo Ball for some reason dropping to number 4. But if not, I think the obvious choice would be Denny.
I don't really see LaMelo Ball falling to number 4. I feel like he's going to go either 1 or 2. So I'm going to have to also go with Obi Toppin. He's a great power forward. He's kind of a big man that the Bulls need, even though they have Lauri Markkanen. I think they'll figure something out. I said before in the last question, Billy Donovan is great at utilizing his players, seeing which player is good at what, and completing the team in general with all the players' talents. So.
All right, guys, moving on towards some questions by Glitchcrate, who's first asking, do we play any video games and on what console? So we answered this earlier. We all like that Call of Duty series, playing Black Ops for a while now. Love playing on Xbox, Xbox One, and we've all, I believe we all had the 360 as well back in the elementary days too. Second question, guys, he's asking is, what is our favorite baseball team? I'm going to get started with our baseball guy, Harsh.
No, it's gonna be the Cubs. It's been Cubs since day one, since maybe I was like 5 or 6. My first favorite player I had to be Tony Campana, and since then it's always been the Cubs.
Obviously, if I'm gonna pick a team, I feel like it'll be the Cubs. That's like the only playoff game I've ever watched in my life. When the Cubs won the World Series. So I'm not saying I'm a huge baseball fan, but yeah, the Cubs if I had to pick a team.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be the Cubs. I've been a fan since Anthony Rizzo came to the team, and I've been watching them a lot in the playoffs. So, and not that I'm a big baseball fan, but if I had to pick, I'd go with the Cubs.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, not as big of a baseball fan as our boy Harsh, but got to go with the Cubs. That 2016 run still brings back goosebumps whenever you watch that video of that final play. Anthony Rizzo pocketing the ball in his back pocket at first base. It just brings back so many memories. Will we get there again? Hopefully, it's not going to take another 108 years, but yeah, I think we're all Cubs fans out here. All right, guys, and the last question which Glitch Grid is asking is, do we read a script? And the answer is no. This is all coming straight from the heart. All the emotion, everything you guys see is all straight from the pure heart. Nothing gets scripted out here. Whatever we say, all the hype, everything we talk about is nothing's planned beforehand, guys. All right, guys, our second to last question is by Jerome Park Productions, who is asking us, are any of us wrestling fans?
I think I speak for all of us. I don't think any of us watch wrestling.
I mean, if we're talking about WWE in the childhood.
Yeah, we have some thoughts on WWE if you want to hear that, but besides that,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, WWE was a lot of where our childhood was with Undertaker, the great Khali, the Kane, we all know. But talking MMA and UFC, not that big out here. Guys, and our last question is by Krispy Kreme, who is asking for a blooper reel. Well, Krispy Kreme, we for sure got a bunch of funny bloopers, to say the least. But how about we keep the anticipation going? And we'll release a blooper reel, probably a pretty long blooper reel, at 1,000 subscribers. All right, guys. Well, that was quite a bit of a longer episode, but one we enjoyed filming, guys. I loved interacting with you guys. You guys asked a bunch of awesome questions. Hope you guys enjoyed the answers. As always, guys, be sure that like button, subscribe. Now the goal, guys, is every week. Let's try to keep on increasing. Let's get to 700 by the end of this month of November. And maybe if we can get our goal to 1,000 by the end of this year, that would be something awesome. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this ride. Spread the word, and we're not stopping anytime soon. Now, on to the next 500. See you guys.